cube stone is the body. It has been so symbolized for centuries, and today among the Masons, the ashlar is the symbol of man. This is the true stone of the philosopher, which gives him power over all creatures. This stone is himself. The experiences of his evolution have cut and polished the rough stone until in the initiate it reflects the light of creation from 1,000 different facets. The jewels of the lodge are said to be 6 in number. 3 are called movable and 3 immovable. The square, the level, and the plumb were anciently and properly called movable jewels because they pass from one brother to another. It is a modern innovation to call them immovable because they always must be present in the lodge. The immovable jewels are the rough ashlar, the perfect ashlar, or the cubical stone, or in some rituals, the double cube, and the tracing board or trestle board. Human society, the Dionysians, considered as a rough and untrued ashlar, but lately chiseled from the quarry of elemental nature. This crude block was the true objective upon which these skilled craftsmen labored, polishing it, squaring it, and with the aid of fine carving transformed it into a miracle of beauty. A rough ashlar is the shapeless stone which is to be prepared in order to commence the philosophical work, and to be developed in order to change its form from triangular to cubic. After the separation from it of its salt, sulfur, and mercury by the aid of the square, level, plumb, and balance, and all other Masonic implements which we use symbolically. The Dionysians referred to ignorant and uncultured humans as a rough ashlar, that is, an uncut stone, as it comes from the quarry, unsuited to the purpose of building. Through the refinement which resulted from self-discipline and addition to the divine arts, man perfected himself, becoming square, upright, and true, thus forming the true ashlar, or the cut stone, which could fit with others into a pattern of masonry. In their secret work, the Dionysians thus were social and political temple builders, and the temple upon which they labored was the living temple of the living God, built of stone before it was brought thither, so that there was neither hammer nor axe nor any tool of iron heard in the house while it was in the building. This temple was human society perfected, and each enlightened and perfected human being was a true stone for its building. St. John carried in the spirit of the great and high mountain, the brain, beheld New Jerusalem, descending as a bride adorned for her husband. The holy city represents the regenerated and perfected world, the true ashlar of the Mason. For the city was a perfect cube, it being written, the length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. Albert Pike found in the ashlar symbolism a picture of the true state. The rough ashlar and the perfect ashlar as part of the jewels of the lodge. The rough ashlar is said to be a stone taken from the quarry in its rude and natural state. The perfect ashlar is said to be a stone made ready by the hands of the workman, to be adjusted by the working tools of the fellow craft. We shall not repeat the explanation of these symbols given by the York Rite. You may read them in its printed monitors. They are declared to allude to the self-improvement of the individual craftsman, a continuation of the same superficial interpretation. The rough ashlar is the people as a mass, rude and unorganized. The perfect ashlar, or cubical stone, symbol of perfection, is the state, the rulers deriving their powers from the consent of the governed, the constitution and the laws speaking of the will of the people. The government harmonious, symmetrical, efficient, its power properly distributed and duly adjusted in equilibrium. If we delineate a cube on a plane surface, thus we have 3 faces and 9 external lines. Drawing between 7 points, the complete cube has 3 more faces, making 6. 3 more lines, making 12, and 1 more point, making 8. As the number 12 indicates, the sacred numbers 3, 5, 7, and 3 times 3, or 9, and is produced by adding the sacred number 3 to 9, while its own, the unit or monad or duad added together make the same sacred number 3. It was called the perfect number, and the cube became the symbol of perfection, produced by force and acting by rule, hammered in accordance with the lines measured by the gauge out of the rough ashlar. It is an appropriate symbol of the force of the people, expressed as the constitution and law of the state. And of the state itself, the 3 visible faces represent the 3 departments: the executive, which execute the laws; the legislative, which make the law; the judiciary, which interprets the laws, applies and enforces them, between man and man, between the state and the citizens. The 3 invisible faces are liberty, equality, and fraternity, the threefold soul of the state, its vitality, spirit, and intellect. As always, there is more information in the links provided below, and please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.